Before we discuss the signs of a bad fuel pump, let's start with what it does and why it's important. The car's fuel pump's main job is to make sure the engine gets the gas it needs when it needs it. Without this, your car wouldn't get out of the driveway. Additionally, the fuel pump, true to its name, is responsible for moving fuel from the fuel tank throughout the entire fuel system. Depending on the type of vehicle you have, it can work either through electrical or mechanical means. Once the fuel is pumped, it's distributed to various parts of the engine, such as the fuel injectors and cylinders, which ensure that your vehicle has the necessary fuel to keep running smoothly. After pumping fuel from the tank, the fuel pump is subject to wear and tear due to continuous use, so you're required to replace it over time. When you neglect replacing a worn-out fuel pump, it can have negative effects on your vehicle's overall performance. That's why it's important to address any issues with it immediately, because proactive maintenance can prevent potential breakdowns. Now let's discuss the 8 symptoms that indicate a faulty fuel pump. Now, the good thing here is that your car will often give you warning signs if it is failing or on the verge of one. So let's take a closer look at some of the common indicators of a bad fuel pump. Sign number 1. Your car is refusing to start, having difficulty starting. In critical situations, when the fuel pump fails, your car simply won't start. It's because the fuel, the engine's primary power source, fails to reach its destination. It's like trying to drive a car that's completely out of gas. That's why it's super important to catch any early signs of fuel pump failure before it gets to this point. If your car won't start, first ensure it's not a simple issue like an empty gas tank or a dead battery. Listen for a faint hum when you turn the key. If you don't hear it, it could mean a fuel pump problem. If you can, run a quick scan with a diagnostic tool. If you can't resolve it, get a mechanic's help and address the issue immediately to ensure your car gets back on the road safely. Sign number 2. The fuel pressure indicator is acting up. When the fuel pump malfunctions, it can disrupt the readings on your fuel pressure gauge, which is important for determining how much gas you have left in the tank. In such cases, the gauge may display erratic readings, showing high levels 1 minute, then suddenly dropping way down the next, catching you off guard without warning. This inconsistency occurs because the pump fails to deliver sufficient fuel to the engine, confusing the gauge's readings. It's best to address this immediately, since the gauge provides important information about your fuel levels, and erratic readings can lead to surprises on the road. First, verify the issue by checking for other symptoms of fuel pump failure. Then, consider seeking professional assistance to diagnose and fix the problem before it escalates. Sign number 3. Engine sputtering. Have you experienced your engine sputtering while driving, particularly at higher speeds? This can be a clear indication of a failing fuel pump, and you need to replace it immediately. When your engine struggles to maintain a consistent flow of fuel, it just means your engine won't be able to generate the consistent power needed to keep your car running smoothly, so take action about it immediately. Sign number 4. Engine overheating. One of the most dreaded threats to your vehicle is overheating, as it can lead to severe breakdowns in no time. If you're behind the wheel and notice the temperature gauge climbing rapidly, it could be a warning sign of a malfunctioning fuel pump. But keep in mind that engine overheating can come from various causes, so it's not always the fuel pump to blame. So if you suspect the fuel pump might be the cause, here's what you can do. Let your engine cool down, then check your coolant levels. If they're fine, listen for a buzzing sound near the fuel tank when you turn the key. The absence of such noise could indicate a malfunctioning fuel pump. However, if you're still unsure, it's best to have a mechanic take a look to pinpoint the problem accurately. Sign number 5. Power loss. When the fuel pump is severely damaged, you may encounter power loss as the engine is continuously strained. Don't be surprised if you experience instances of engine stalling or sudden stops during such occurrences. Address this issue by pulling over to a safe location if possible to ensure your safety. Then, seek assistance from a qualified mechanic to diagnose and repair the fuel pump issue. Ignoring the issue can make matters worse and pose further risks on the road. Sign number 6. You can hear a whistling in the fuel tank. It's important to take any noise coming from your vehicle's fuel tank seriously, regardless of whether it's loud or subtle. It could be your car's way of alerting you to potential issues that need attention before they become major problems. Just like any other part, a faulty fuel pump can produce whining noises from the fuel tank because it is struggling to draw fuel to deliver it to the engine. So if you notice these noises, consult your mechanic to prevent further complications. Sign number 7, engine surging. Another indicator of a failing fuel pump is sudden engine surges. When the fuel pump malfunctions, it may send more fuel into the engine than necessary to maintain normal speeds. As a result, if you experience engine surges while driving under typical conditions, again, have the fuel pump checked immediately. Sign number 8, reduced fuel efficiency. If your fuel pump isn't operating correctly, expect your fuel economy to suffer. Your engine relies on a consistent fuel supply, so when it doesn't receive the expected amount, you'll find yourself making more frequent stops at the gas station because it requires additional fuel. It's worth noting that besides issues with your vehicle's fuel system, low fuel economy can come from various other factors. So start by confirming the issue and look for other symptoms of fuel pump failure. At the same time, inspect other causes such as dirty air filters or worn spark plugs. If you're still unsure or unable to diagnose the problem yourself, seek professional help from a qualified mechanic. Sign number 9, engine stalling. If the fuel pump is failing or unable to provide an adequate amount of fuel to the engine, it can result in fuel starvation, causing the engine to stall. So without a proper fuel supply, the engine cannot maintain its operation and will shut down abruptly, leading to stalling. That's why engine stalling is another symptom that there's a problem with the fuel pump's ability to deliver fuel effectively to the engine. If you experience this, safely pull over to the side of the road and turn off the engine. Allow your car to sit for a few minutes to cool down, then attempt to restart the engine. If it starts and runs smoothly, proceed with caution to a nearby mechanic for diagnosis and repair. Sign number 10, check engine light. If the fuel pump is failing, it can result in fuel delivery problems, such as low fuel pressure or a lean-rich fuel mixture. These issues can trigger sensors in the engine management system to detect abnormalities in engine operation, leading to the illumination of the check engine light. That's why the check engine light is another warning indicator that something is wrong with the fuel system, including potential problems with the fuel pump. There you have it, the 10 common symptoms of a bad fuel pump. If you suspect your car is experiencing any of these signs, don't ignore them and address them to prevent further damage to your vehicle. If you enjoy videos like this, make sure to like and subscribe so we can assist you. Fix it.